Man, of late we've done some videos that makes me want to go home and almost slip my wrists. Like that video yesterday with Gabriel Kraus, man. Like, I know that guy has to spell the doomsday scenario for us just to kind of like prompt people to take it seriously. But man, that guy just left me feeling like I wanted to go cry with my puppy. But
Yeah.
before we start actually talking about this, just to remind everybody of the usual shill, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and do consider becoming a member of the channel. We have 3 tiers. So the basic tier is 2 live streams with Ramon and I a month, and you get to sit there and talk to us directly and interact with us directly on a Zoom call. So we'll see you, you can see us. The second tier is to get the best to start your morning with a pack of morning shot coffees. For every month you're a member, we'll send you a bag of coffee. And the third tier is our premium tier, where you can do a video yourself and send it to us, which we'll record and play. And you can sit there and tell us all about how rubbish you think our opinions are. So you know who you are if you really have that big, strong opinions about how I annoy you and Ramon is just so handsome. By all means, send in your clips. With that all being said, onto the video. So, as I said, all these things of late make you worry. And we've seen a lot of videos where people are like, we should just immigrate now. Like, there's no hope in this place. Like, there's the expropriation bill and the trespass bill and the BE bill and the something bill and the bill. But there's a flaw in the plan. And that is ANC councillors can't read and write. What do you think of that, Ramon?
Yeah, I think it's wonderful. So, a bit of context. Yesterday, we spoke to Gabriel Krauser. I'll link the video below. It's well worth your time to read, to watch the interview. And he basically linked all the bills going through Parliament about basically expropriation compensation is a real thing in South Africa, and the ANC still wants to pursue it. After that, myself and Byron, were quite depressed with the revelations from Gabriel. But Byron, any competent state or any state that wishes to expropriate stuff, hopefully the civil service is able to read and write in a material way. But in South Africa, things are quite different. Whereas in KwaZulu-Natal, especially, about 300 municipal councillors would like to be taught how to read and write. I'm not even joking with you. They want to be taught how to read and write. These are councillors, mate. These are people that make local government decisions. These are people that are voted into power by the local populace. And quite a substantial margin, 15% of them, cannot even read and write. So if you give them an instruction to expropriate XYZ, how in all that is holy are they going to follow
Read it.
that instruction? That's impossible.
Yeah, we don't like morning shot. Yeah, I can't read these. What's this say? Like, oh man, oh, it's brilliant. You love it. You know what I love about this? Like, these are the same clowns picking the president, right? I mean, these leaders, these councillors who can't even read and write, all sit down together and say, you, and you're all going to the national conference to pick the leader of the country, and it's like, then those guys are all voting on bills that go before Parliament, and you got to look at these and be like, can you even read this, mate? Because this revelation is kind of casting doubt now. Like, I know we've seen a lot of laws, and we've been like, these things are so badly written, and they just bullshit. They're something written by a child
Yeah. I mean, even we struggle to understand half the bills that are
with a
passed.
crayon.
Sorry, mate. You broke up a little bit there, but even we, as trained lawyers, sometimes struggle to read the bills correctly, right? And now apparently the people that are effecting the bills and the ones that are perfecting the bills to become laws don't understand how to read and write correctly. But not to worry, Byron, because according to the audit, there were concerns about the councillors who lack sufficient reading and writing skills, but the department was very impressed that a significant number of the councillors have a matric certificate. And, close to 10% of councillors in KZN have a degree. So, I mean, remember the time when John Steenhuisen's matric, whatever, revelation, not that it was like the biggest story in the world, right? Oh, he only has a matric, he's useless, he's incompetent. Mate, these people don't have a matric. And they are actually in local government passing laws for all of us to follow. Like, if the ANC is so worried about a competent civil service, maybe they would want to take a look at that first rather than doing anything else.
Yeah, I mean it's a very interesting one, this, isn't it? Because if you actually look at a lot of like the ANC ministers, this is the top brass, the guys who run the place. Bekisele, for example, his education is what? Like he's a primary school teacher, and then you got like Patel. Patel's like, what is he? Drama grad or something?
I think he has a BA in
Like,
drama.
we should really look it up. Like, I don't want to say that the guy's got something that he doesn't. So let's see. Patel,
I actually did a
Minister
video on
of
him a while
Finance.
ago. Um, 1 second. He has education. There you go. There you go. A Bachelor of Arts through the University of Cape Town. In what? I don't actually know. Let's find out.
Yeah. So if he's got that, it's probably not going to be relevant. But yeah, anyway, so you look at it. This guy's like finance minister. He's been minister of trade. He's been minister of economic development. He's been minister of industries, and he's like a drama student. Look,
Yeah, basically.
these guys aren't exactly. He's basically been trained in how to be a Karen, and you like. Then you look at the guys on the ground level that are voting on all. Can you even read and write? No. And we all know that these guys don't turn up to meetings anyway. 90% of the time, like if you've ever seen anything to do with local councils, like the ANC guys just don't even pitch. I mean, if you think about it, the EFF's great huge election plan is how are they going to like overtake the country? And the EFF's like, we're different from the ANC. And everybody goes, how? And they go, we pitch up and we actually go to the meetings. And that's their grand plan, is like they actually turn up and go to the meeting. That's how they're so much more competent, apparently. So you got to look at it and then like re-look at everything we've just said about how shitty everything is, and just be like, it ain't all that bad, man. Like,
Yeah.
how are you even gonna do any of this stuff when you can't even read?
Yeah, and that's the key. Our enemy, as normal rational South Africans, our enemy is wildly stupid. We must stop having this idea that the enemy is smart or that the enemy is conniving. Okay, maybe they are conniving, but the enemy is not smart, right? There is no legitimate capacity for the ANC to do much. It can give itself the powers to do something in terms of a law, but in terms of implementing that, it's going to find very, very difficult. And that's really the story of the ANC. But back to these councillors. Um, I mean, what this municipality wants to do with the ones who can't read is that they're actually sort of, including training with tertiary institutions to teach these councillors how to read and write. So the solution to incompetent employees, for lack of a better word, is to train them up on the job itself instead of finding other employees that are more competent than them. So you can see like this little cult bubble where it's a very closed circle, and you're allowed in irrespective of meritocracy. And if you lack the skills such as reading, we will just upskill you from inside. We won't actually try to bring in people from outside who can do the job. Like, this creates a lot of, what's the term, inefficiencies with the ANZ's plans for South Africa, and this is something that should be celebrated.
I think it's also something that should be acknowledged. Like every time you sit there and you go, "Oh, I feel helpless," like they're coming for me. Man, you can read. Like that's a lot more than your adversary has. And in any case, who's coming for you? What, the police? How many videos we've done on the fact that most of the police stations don't even have bullets in their guns? So who's coming for you? The army. Well, with what guns? And when they come for you, are they going to get fed? Because they're probably not going to get fed. Like, the ANC can come up with all these lame brain ideas, man. I just, you sometimes wonder, like, do these guys just busy themselves for the sake of being busy? Because I can't see them being able to affect this stuff with their current level of intelligence.
Yeah, well, we made a video 18 months ago about the Great Reset being thwarted by local incompetence. And I think that principle is largely the same for any form of idea the ANC wants to pursue in South Africa. The
Mm.
biggest the biggest enemy of the ANC is not other people, it's itself. Like, it is completely unable to do anything itself. It completely missed the boat on creating a tyranny because they don't have, pay the army, they steal everything, and half the people can't read and write. I mean, why are we scared? If I'm really honest, why are we actually scared of these people? We shouldn't be. We should laugh at them. We should mock them
And then
mercilessly.
so everybody goes, yeah, but we're going to end up like Zim. Zim actually had a very well trained and very well funded army. Yeah? So no matter how you looked at it, like their army was actually in many respects and still is many respects stronger than ours.
And a highly educated
It's very well
population.
trained,
And a highly educated population. People don't
and
understand that, right? The highly educated population can have the idea about why land invasions are a good thing, right? If you can articulate that well, educated people spring onto that and take it on as their own persona. If you have a dumb population like South Africa, it's much more difficult for the message to be, first of all, to get out, and second of all, to be inculcated into the psyche.
that's right, that's right. And it's like when you kind of saw things, even in Zim, ZANU PF had a really kind of strong influence over the opposition parties because it knew it had to keep all of its local kind of private security and its local cadres needed to keep them really close. The ANC are too stupid. They're so busy enriching themselves. They haven't even paid their own security. We did a video on that. So half the ANC securities are like, we're not going to risk our lives for you because you guys won't even pay us. Like, ZANU PF knew if you don't keep your local guys in check, like there's no hope. So you can draw all the parallels you want with Zim, but we're not the same country. No matter how you try square those parallels, it's very possible that we're trying to pursue very similar policies. As Gabriel very articulately said, we seem to be trying to do it through legal means as opposed through illegal means. That may be the case, but we're not the same country, and I don't think we should get
Yeah,
confused on that.
yeah, and because they want to do it through legal means, it's actually a lot more difficult to them as well. Because through legal means you need people to understand what the hell's going on. Funny enough, I think the ANC don't want land invasions chaotically because they can't actually do it because there's no hunger for land. If you actually read the surveys of what people want, there's no hunger for land. But if they do it surreptitiously
No, they want jobs.
through legal means, it's much slower, and I think they're able to control it much better. But they can't do it chaotically because they just don't have the power to do it chaotically.
Mm. I think what will probably end up happening is if the laws are passed, they're probably going to expropriate a few things that are like you and me would just go like, oh, okay, I don't really see a problem with that. And they'll be like, see, you panicked for nothing. And then some guy's going to fund the DA with $1 million or so, and his property will suddenly disappear. And it will be like, oh, it's like that, is it? And then everybody else will just be like, oh, okay, we know how it works now in Africa. And they'll all just arm their properties now like there's no tomorrow. There'll be like commandos all over the freaking place, and good luck trying to send anybody in there to expropriate it anyway. So, because the people that they're going to want to target are people with means,
Yeah,
and the people with means aren't stupid. Like, there's a reason they speak out against these people because they have financial means, they have influence, they have power. And as we keep saying, it's all about influence and power. If you have influence and power, you know how to exert it. Well, the state isn't strong enough to defend against those in the country with influence and power. We know that. We've seen it many times. So It's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be interesting. And your renter mob only gets you so far. I mean, we saw in Brockenfell and even Senecal. Like you can go there with your renter mob, but when they actually really face resistance, like they crumble and run. Huh? They
They
crumble and run
do.
quick. A couple of flash bangs and some smoke grenades, and people just like they're like rats, man. They just off they go. Again in Zim, that didn't happen. Those
Exactly.
guys were far more trained and they were far more ruthless because a lot of the people, if you follow them, like a lot of the people were still from the Revolutionary Army, so they had seen and done terrible things. These were people with experience. In South Africa, the people that did and saw and those kind of things with experience, they retired, man. Like we got one young woke little millennials that have been to like Stellenbosch University that come out there wanting to talk about how other people have white privilege, like talking with an American accent. It's a true story. This actually happens quite a bit. And they want to talk about white fragility and black power, and they're like they went to the best universities in the country. Like these guys are not going to stick around and see the end of a bullet. So
No, they're
you
not.
have to remind yourself of that, like every day.
Yeah, and importantly, in Zimbabwe there was no resistance. There was no opposition. The farmers were sort of left on their own accord. They could see it coming for years and didn't do anything about it. Here we've been seeing it for years, and there's been a lot of preparation to make sure it doesn't become a reality. Another key difference between here and Zimbabwe.
Yeah. Anyway, we probably talked about this topic long enough, and before we get accused of being racist, we should probably end it off there. Final note is if you want to be an advertiser on Morning Shot, don't forget to send us an email at info@morningshot.co.za. That's info@morningshot.co.za and speak to us about being advertised or featured on the channel. We are in the market for new advertisers, so please do get in touch.
Yeah, absolutely. Pin the comment down below. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you in the next one. Have a good one. Cheers, cheers.
Yeah. Bye.